Hello to everyone, this is Vishal and hope all are doing good. So, as nowadays everybody want to build app in the Jetpack Compose and because of their lot of easy work on that and there is a less design work like is if you go with the adapters or a recycler view, so these kind of scenarios we can easily work with the lazy columns and then create an screen without any hassle of uh, layouts designings or likewise. So we can implement with the code and everything should be a very easy like that if you are a Flutter developer, so then you can see the similarities be like in the Jetpack Compose and Flutter. Both are very similar. I think I already told you, I already described you in the previous small two sessions in which we were already worked with the text. So there are a lot of advantage, but whenever we just go for the videos on that and if you go for the tutorials on that, so we are doing many mistakes like that because of we are not aware of such a basic functionalities, basic classes on that. So we can explore the things one by one and we can work on that. So if we go for the Jetpack Compose, I will in my continuous sessions I will work on this to describe you the lazy columns although also and the first thing is that modifiers, how we can use these modifiers, then we create a card or a box layouts on that, and then we have to work with that those recycler views, so we can implement these things in a very easy approaches. And whenever we work with just complex APIs, like how we can work with the MVVM approaches and other approaches, so we can build those scenarios also. So for this I will create just videos, small videos for you. Just work on that and first clear your basic functionalities, that means basic classes, how we can implement, how we can use it, and then you can create your own ideas and work on those classes. So don't copy from here and there, just work on with your own creations. So that is we can build it on that. And for this, but the most important things for this, we need to understand the classes and other methods on that. So Jetpack Compose provide us, so those we can play it, how we can do that. So that's also be if you go with the Flutter, so that all those also be the useful for you. Okay, so let's start it with the Jetpack Compose again, and I will describe you one by one each and every scenario. So today we discuss about the modifiers and little bit the lazy columns, but how we can use the recycler view or like that, so we can also implement with that. Okay, so in coming sessions I will provide you that how we can use that MVVM approaches with that, and how we can build those scenarios with this Jetpack Compose, all this data. So for one by one we can learn these things, but first we have to work with basic things on the Jetpack Compose. So let us start it. So if you're talking about the Jetpack Compose, we can say that it is a simple toolkit for building a native UI, nothing else. So we can build a simple UI on that. It simplifies the accelerates of UI development in Android, and on my language I can say that it is a very similar to our Flutter. Okay, so that means that idea or concepts, they are coming from the Flutter also. So as we have already discussed in the previous sessions, how to implement the text and how we can design it, the small layout, and how we work with the row and column. So on that there be the modifier. So modifier is very important, how we can use the padding, how we can use that because of the margins not work here, so we have other ways to do that. So there whenever we create a composable functions, and we can show in the preview, and that preview we can use that our data classes also we can build it. So these simple scenarios we can work already, but how we can again we implement it and how we can use it, how we can design it again, so we'll discuss. So one more definition, we can say that the jetpack compose is built around composable functions. Composable, I already described you what is the composable, and these functions let you define your app's UI programmatically, and by describing how it should look like in the providing the data dependencies. So these all we already discussed, and how we can use this composable function, and how we can implement. So we have a simple add composable annotation on that. We are working with this. Okay, but here the most important things we have to discuss today, that is called the modifiers. So modifier allows you to decorate or augment possible composable modifiers, let you go for the sort of the things. So that means how we can use that composable sizes, layouts, behavior, appearances. So these we have to work on. So let us start it, and how we can use it we can see the practically. I will describe you one steps on the modifiers. So we'll discuss it and we can learn it with the Android Studio. So let us start it, and we work with this modifiers and how we can design it. Then we work with our lazy columns also, and we can use the recycler view in the next session. So let's see what is the mod. Okay, so let us start in Android Studio, and here first thing is that you have to create a new Kotlin class, and in which we can make our functions. So make it as a composable functions class. Okay, so these are composable functions, and we do not go with that class, just we need only functions here. So just like that, as on your main activity, these function like on they already provide us for the greetings. Okay, so likewise that we have to work with other functions. So for this now not it here, because of we are just checking with the preview. So we hided this function, and we'll check the other previews function on which we have to work. Okay, so here first thing is that we already described that on my previous sessions. We go for the composable, then this is the simple annotation provided by Android Jetpack. Okay, and here you just create for the fun function, and that is your composable test1. Okay, so here I'm making this first function, and I already described you that how we can implement the simple column classes and simple row classes. So we will work accordingly. So first I'm just going for the first function, in which I will describe you how we can make a simple modifier. So here for we already describe you the columns. Okay, so we go for the columns here, and for the columns we are using, if you are using the multiple texts, so we are using that columns. If you are new, that you can go with that my previous session, that I will describe you the row and column. So one more tutorial I will create for you for this special functionality for the description of that row column also. But here we just go for the simple column, and we are not using any modifier at. Okay, so what we have to do, we just go for the text, and here this is our header, and the second text is for our description, nothing else we are doing. Okay, and here you go for just alt enter and see that composable. Okay, so this is our simple text functionalities we are using. So let's see how we can use that. So here you can see that composable test1. Okay, so here you can see that on the split side you can say the build and refresh, and check that what happened with this at a very first level. So whenever you create any function or update any function, one time you can build and refresh it. And here, because of we are only checking with the preview, so no need to call it here. If you using your mobile device and others, so you can run it with this on both the side. But as they provide us a very good preview annotation, so we can use it and check that, and we can implement easily. And okay, And one more tutorial I will create for you for the themes also, and we'll explore. So our basic purpose is that we have to just follow the rules of the jet compose and then implement the new designs on that. Okay, so if you see the example here, we have a simple header and description, nothing else we have done with this. Okay, so now what is the use of this modifier? So here first scope is that we can use it under the columns, rows, and also for the particular text. So this is the scope we are using. So first we go for the column scope and then check that what happened on this. So we simply say that a modifier, and you can see that here the third one is a modifier, and we can use this modifier as a modifier compose UI. So that's your first. We give the padding, and I'm giving the padding of 10 point dp here. Okay, so for that alt enter import. So for this, what happened that if we go with the modifier padding for the columns, so for this you can refresh it. So you can see that there will be the padding on outside this areas. So simple modifier we can use for the scope. But what happened that I want means layout be on this for all. We can say that in every screen we have to fit that. So what we can do that if we go for the fill max width. So what happened on that? Again we can see this is our build and refresh. So here you can see that this is the area we bounded here, but now if we go for the fill max width, so we can see it is like a complete area it covers on that. Okay, so this is a maximum width of this. So whenever we use this, it means it can fit in every screens we can use it. So this is your simple max width with the column modifiers. Okay, and now let's see on the second test. This is a simple. So we can make one more composable, and here we can see that simple fun composable test 2. Okay, and here we can create in a row. This is our row, composable row, we can see that, and in this row we can see that we can check that what is the modifier on, and because of if you work with any image, so how we can resize that image, and then we combine the row and columns on that area. So these we have to work. Okay, so let's see how we can use the image here with this row modifier. Okay, now let's see the scope of the modifier for the particular image. So what happened that if you go for any image, so here you can see that there are three kind of images. We have an image painter, we have an image vector, we have a bitmap, we have a simple image that we are using the previously. Okay, so for that what happened that painter, so you can see that here on the right side we have a painter, we have a content descriptions, we can use the modifiers, we can use the alignment, and what will be the content scale of that. So we can go for a simple painter method at this time, and then with the content description, basic two things we needed. Okay, here, so what we can do for, we can just go for a painter, and you can see that here a painter resource. So here always whenever you go for the any drawable images, you can choose it like this, and otherwise you can choose a vector approaches. Okay, so here we have a image user already, and in our drawable, and here if you want to go with any text you can go, otherwise you can make it as a null. Okay, so simple row we are using, and how we can implement with the composable test. So let's see here, and we hide this first function and make it as a composable test2, and once it's done we'll see what will be the result for this. So for this we can refresh it, build and refresh, and we can see what happened with this. So on very first scenario, what we have done, we have just checking with the simple column layout, and we can make it at the full width. And here we can check for the images, we can merge both the things, and we can create our box and card layouts also. Okay, so you can see that here it is simple, we have a full image and nothing we have with this. Okay, now here if we go for the scope, for the row scope, and we can say that modifier equal to modifier and the modifier for composable. Okay, and then say the padding, and I am giving the padding of 5 dp here, and also I am going for that background color dot red, yeah, color dot red. So we'll see, we can import it and check what happened with this. Okay, so for this padding for the row, what be the change here? Nothing, but we can't see the colors on that. Okay, the simple modifier padding is there, but the background be not there. Okay, so now we go for the image scope, and we can say that here comma modifier for this scope, and here we have a modifier dot, and I'm going to give the size of this image, means size. Okay, so for this size, what happen, I'm going for the width is 40 dp, comma height 40 dp. Okay, and now we can see that what happened in this scenario. This is the image scope. So whenever we want to resize the image, and likewise that we go for that particular image scope on that. So we'll see what happened with this. So now you can see that here we have a, and now if we go for dot clip, and I want to make this clip because of many functionalities we needed the circular. So we have a two kind of shape here, one is a circular and the other is on, we have a rectangular. So if we go for the circular shape, and we can build and refresh it and check. Now you can see the red layout on that, because of the previously what happened that it covers the background. Okay, now you can see that the round shapes be here. Okay, because of it's not a full width, so it can. Okay, so if you check with the max size of this, so what happened that it show you that the max width of. Okay, and other thing is, as we are doing the wrap on that cases, so we do not go with this fill max width. According to your layout, whatever you want, you can go with that. Okay, so for this image you can give the shapes to that, and we can do the scopes on. Now the next step is that if we go for the composable test 3, in which we are using the image with the above texts. Okay, so and then see the scenario of what we can do with this. Okay, so let's see if we go for the third composable, and here we can make it a function composable, test 3. And what we have on this area, so that means we can go with the row as well as our columns. So I'm just using this complete row, whatever be it is. I'm using the same modifier, but for the columns, that means inside the row I'm using the column also, because of I need to put some text here. Okay, so for this what we can do, we just copy the above text. So we'll check how we can use these two mergings we have. Okay, so for this main activity, just hide though and composable test 3, and let's see what happened on build and refresh. It's very interesting if we go with the basic things. We learned the small things here, so it never be confused to you. So you can see that here it show you this kind of layout. Okay, here we have a header, we have a description like this. So but if you go for the inner paddings, like if you go for the modifier here also, and I want to give some modifier paddings here. This is 4.dp. So on this what happened, we'll see. Okay, so this is the padding, and if we go for the image padding also, so on this what happened, .d. Let's see. So if you using the padding after clipping, so it create an issue on that. Okay, so whenever you want to go for the padding, I'm doing the control Z, and here I'm using the padding after the size. Now we can check that. So we give the preference and the hierarchy to this padding first, and then we go for the clips. Okay, so now you can see that it working perfect. But how we can make the center, and likewise that I will show you on the next compose. So these, using this way, you can make your layouts be good like this. Okay, so one by one I will sort out these issues be like. Okay, so here this is a simple row scope, we have a image scope, we have a columns scope, so we can go with that. And if you want, I think already I described you that text modifiers also. Okay, so what happened that if you go for the fill max size, so it go with like this. But one more thing we have, if you go for the text scope, and I want to make it like this modifier be here, so I am just want to go for the modifier be dot. Here we have a one more thing, that is they providing padding from the baseline, and I want to go from the top, and the top I am giving this padding to 30. Okay, 10.dp. Okay, so in that scenario what happens for this particular text, that we'll also see. Sometimes what happen that the margin issues be there, so everything should be, we have to cover with this the paddings. So you can see that there is some differences on let one more thing. I'm giving this padding to here for the other text also. Modifier dot padding from baseline top from 20 point dp. Now we'll see what happened with this paddings also here. You can see that here from the top it can push it down to this. So this is the scenario. You can work with the padding from baseline also. Simple padding we have to work, and column padding. So this is the scopes we can learn. So because of whenever you to go for the rows scope, image scope and column scope, according to your layout we can design it. Now we have to go for the fourth test, how we can implement this with the common modifier for all. Okay, now we have to go for reusable modifier. So for this again we have to create a one more composable test function, and I'm using that function be composable test 4. Okay, yes. Okay, in this testable 4 function, what we can do, we just create a one reusable modifier, and here in this reusable modifier what we can, we say the modifier dot whatever you want, that fill with max weight or according to your screen. You can say that height is 100 dp, dot width is 100 point dp, or you can use the size. So whatever you want to go for that. And here if you want to go for the padding also, you give the padding 10 point dp. And here you can see that if it is a background, I'm just giving the example of this how we can use that. So this is your color dot red I'm giving. So these all stuffs for the reusable. Okay, and now I'm using the same thing here. At this time I'm not using any image, but we'll add later. So for this, under the row I'm using these columns, and under that column what we can do, we just go for this reusable modifier. Okay, so for this what we can say, we can use this modifier as in the scopes for the row and the column. We can pass it like let me add these two text, simple text we have. I'm not doing any decoration with the text at this time. So I'm putting this under the columns. I'm not using any image in this row. We'll add later. We'll show that how we can use this modifier. I'm using this modifier B as a reusable modifier. You just pass that. The same you can go for the column. So wherever you want these modifiers, you can reuse this anywhere. So let's see what is the result of that composable test 4. So a lot of things in our plate for the jetpack compose in the coming sessions, like drawers also. So we can implement, but first learn all these steps. We'll wait and see once it's built. Yeah, so you can see that here We have a header, description, max width, everything is there for that composable. And here if you want to go for something with the text, like if you want to go for the styles, I will show you the styles parallelly with this. So text styles, and here you can go for your font size here. So here we have a font family, font size, font width, everything is there. So font always be with the SP, okay, so alt. And I want to go with the font family, so I'm using the font family serif, okay. And simple, the size, family, these two things we need it, okay. And I want this description be the little small, so what we can do, you can use this, the same be like, and I'm giving the 8 dp. Or if you want something change on the family, so we can see that we have a cursive also, okay, monospace also. So these are the decoration pieces of whatever we can do with our text styles. So this is our build and refresh. So you can see that it looks good, better than this, okay. And if I don't want to go with the max width, so what happen, we can build and refresh. Okay, it looks be like this. So that means it gives you the height 100 and then width is 100. Okay, so if you provide the both of it, so you can take the first one, full max width on that case, okay. So this is your reusable modifier. In many cases we are using the better choices, you can just create this kind of val function and val variable, and then you can implement it wherever you need it. So this kind of padding styles or likewise you can work on that. So now I will show you one more thing, is how we can use this as an example with your boxes. Okay, so how we can implement with the box this also, let's see. What we can do, we just create a copy and paste these things here, and make that function with the fifth one. And now for this row, what we can do, I'm using this box here, okay, and that the box, alt enter. So whatever we modifier we can use it for this reusable form, okay. So I'm using this modifier with reusable, okay, just simple. And now what we can do, we just go for this image from here, under the row and columns. So inside the box, first we create a row, and inside the row I'm creating a column just for testing. And also here, let's see for this modifiers what is the scope of here also. Okay, and the same you can copy paste it here. And for the row here, oh yeah, sorry, I just copied that first. Again we have to copy the image. And these two texts with the decoration I'm using here under the columns. So first we check which kind of a scope it is using here. So here just close this, composable 5. Now build and refresh this. Many things become easy using the jetpack compose. Similar, very similar like the Flutter. So here you can see that it not showing as we want on. Okay, so for this, first thing, for the reusable modifier, I do not want this width. I want fill max width, and now see what be the result on that case. So here you can see that here we have the header, we have a description and this kind of stuff. Now I don't want to go with this row modifier, then see the result. Okay, so this is the main row modifier, so it put up the things as the padding be out from here. Okay, so I think we have to go for the control Z again, so it looks fine. For the column modifiers you can see the text decorations be there, so on that case the padding be accordingly. So if we remove it, we'll see what the effect of that. Okay, so here that means this impact on particular area of this columns, so that you can learn. And okay, we'll see the control jet. Now I want to align up the things also. So if you go for the alignments or this kind of stuffs, you can use it with this, like let's see, dot align, and I want to make it as in a center vertically. So let's see what our image will show. Okay, and if you go for the text alignments, so you can also go for that scope also. Okay, so for this you can use for the particular text alignments also, and I also describe you can use this modifier paddings from the top or the from the bottom, so you can use this modifier the padding from the baseline. Okay, so for this interior decoration you can go for with this. We'll see it cause any, or you can use the central vertical alignments also. So you can design your layouts according to whatever be. So here you can see that it shift down that little, so it looks fine. But in the box there we don't have any elevations, like we don't have anything, so we can go for the cards also. So this is the simple animation, you can go for the box. So here you can use your image. This simple layouts I'm showing to you because of this will we can use it in our recycler view, or we can say the lazy column. Okay, so let's see one more example for the card view. So what we can do, like the boxes, we can make more attractive than box with the cards, as we have a card layout, if you see that. So the same we can go for the elevations and other things we can use it. So for that what we can do, we can make it as a 6 new composable test, and here instead of the box I am using the card, just simple. And for this card let's say alt enter. Okay, so for this card what we can do, we can use it as a composable 6, and build and refresh it, and there you can see the corner be the rounds, and then many things we can see that. Here you can see that that is very good looking, but here you can see that header description, these all notes will look good on that area. Okay, so here yeah, so I'm not using this background color. First thing I'm making as in a white color. Okay, so the second thing is I'm making the padding little less, and now we'll see the result of this. Wait, I think something be going on. Yeah, let's see why it not showing like this. Let's check. If you make it as a border for the image, and for the border I'm giving the width of 1 point dp, and for the shape I'm using the circular shape, and then also I'm using the color with the color dot black. Okay, so now we'll see what it can update for the preview. Yeah, okay, so these things be too much high, so we also be doing something centralized on. Yeah, so center vertically. Okay, Okay, so do one thing, we'll do it later, but first we'll show you one more thing for the elevation, card elevations. So for this card elevation, what we can do, we can go for the card defaults dot card elevation, and I'm giving for this elevation 5 point dp. Okay, so for this you can see the border shades be like elevated. So you can see that this is the blurring on that area. And also what we can do with this, we can make it as an okay, I just remove this modifier for first. Let's see what happened with this, because of if no need on the row scope, so how it looks like. Yeah, so you can see that it be absurd on that. But if you want to go for the background shades like that, if you want to go with something background color you want to give for this area, so that's also be the good, you can make it as a card inside card also. But at this time I'm not going like that. I'm using the control jet again, and it looks again be the same as in a complete white background. Okay, so now the two things we have to do, go for that one for the card, if you want to go for the card borders, and also if you want to replace these things. So for this I told you already that we have very good functionalities. If you go for the text, and that is your text, what is that, padding from baseline. Okay, so you can check with this and make it down little on that area. So we'll see. Yeah, it's already there. Nice. So make it as a 30 point dp. Let's see what be the result of this. I'm making just trouble. Okay, so it looks be the good in this section. So one more thing, let's see if we can go with the borders also. I think there is some card border we have, comma, yeah, border. So here card defaults dot, yeah, we have an outline border, and if we go for the border stroke, so here I'm giving the width 1 point dp. Okay, let's see. I think it goes with the border stroke with card elevation. So card defaults dot, is that any outline corner border, is that 1 point dp. Okay, we'll see first that what we have they provided. Yeah, so it's default, it looks beautiful, and there are many things with the card you can go with that. So I think this is we have done with all the simple scenario. So you can just go for your headers and descriptions and many things, you can make it a lovely layouts on that area. Okay, Also you can give the card colors also. I think there's the card default dot colors we have. So we'll see what we can do for the colors there. Yes, there's a card defaults dot card colors, and that is the color dot light gray, and we'll see. Yeah, so this is the shades, you can see that on the background areas. And for if you go for your internal, so you can make it as a color light gray here for your reusable composables. So depends on your choices what you want to build on. Okay, so that's, yeah, so that looks also with the pretty. So it depends on your choices how we can build like that, and which kind of preview you want on that. So this is the simple scenarios you can work on, and a lot of stuffs we have to work. We continue this session, and we'll work with the more composable things on now.